Hey, Epoch Church. My name's Andy Turner. Daniel was kind enough to ask me to share a little bit of my story with you guys. I was baptized at the age of 5, but I guess you could say I was always a Christian because I grew up in the church, my father being a pastor. I was always a believer, I guess. But it wasn't until high school that I started taking my faith and my relationship with Jesus a bit more seriously. I was on fire for the Lord, but then once I got to OBU, I kind of drifted away from that a little bit and allowed just some things to come in my life, partied a little bit more, and just started drinking and not really caring much about that. The drinking and partying continued after college as well and escalated a bit, but nothing too heavy. Kind of started just getting a bit more far out and leaving the Lord a bit more in the dust because that wasn't my priority, and I was getting satisfaction and having fun through substances and through people and hanging out and doing whatever I did. And during that time, my father got cancer, and we'd always been a close-knit family, and just seeing him wither away and then ultimately pass was very disheartening for me spiritually, because I felt that my dad, since he'd been 13, had only wanted to do the Lord's work, and this is what happens. I was like, no thanks. Basically turned my back on it completely, not in a conscious way, but just I did, and I was really angry with God. And it was at that point that drugs really entered. You know, I'd done them before, this and that, but it started becoming a pretty regular thing with harder drugs and pills, and just getting really far out. And then had a bad car accident, which actually sent my pill addiction into overdrive to the point where family got together and things were bad, and I went to rehab. Which helped, and so I got out, and things would be good for a little while. I'd have ups and downs, some good months. I had a good year, but there was always just something kind of still holding me back because I wasn't fully letting all of that go, and I still wasn't relying on God whatsoever. I was trying to do it on my own will, and then God for a little while, but got a little better. Then my future wife and I started attending Epic, which was great. Everyone was wonderful. It was rejuvenating, doing a little better. While attending Epic, during that time, I got a phone call from a police officer I knew, and he let me know that my brother had died in a car accident, and it was going to be my job to tell my mother and his wife that he had died. And doing that was the most difficult thing ever in my life. And ultimately, after that day, I was having trouble getting the screams and moans and all the sorrow I heard when I delivered the news out of my head. And the only way really I knew to do that was my old foolproof plans of going back to chemicals and drugs and whatever else. And at that point, it escalated to full-blown crack cocaine. I just became a crack addict and pill freak. Then it got to a point where it was so bad that I didn't care if I lived or died. I didn't care if my wife lived or died, I don't think, or anybody else. It was pretty dark. Only thing I was worried about was just staying comfortable until I died, just kind of waiting around to die. And then Chelsea, my wife, says, "Hey, I got a job teaching in El Dorado," and I was thinking, "Good, that's awesome. Have fun there. I'll be here, because I'm not going to El Dorado." But then at the end of the day, I had nowhere else to go, so I kind of had to go with her. But luckily, once we did, it was life changing, because once we moved to El Dorado, it was pretty intense how we got here. The Lord, I believe now, had to just physically pull me away and get me away from all of that. And once we got here and I woke up, I haven't used drugs in over 4 years. God took the actual desire to use drugs away from me, and in doing so revealed that I could find joy and comfort through knowing Him and seeking Him out. And what was cool was that in doing so, I also found joy in doing things that I always thought were kind of lame, like being a good husband and a son, and working with the youth and playing in the praise band. I love doing those things, and it was only through the Lord moving Chelsea and I here and stripping all that away and just being able to focus on Jesus, and that's what happens. Thank you, Epic. Love you guys.